Welcome to Comic Station, issue number 83 for July 30th, 2014. We're coming off the hype of the San Diego Comic-Con, and there will be a video just doing a general news wrap-up of the whole Comic-Con following this one, but this is our normal weekly videos.
This one's just talking about the comics, that sort of thing.
What is out this week?
Yeah.
So we're going to start off.
We've got Wool from Cryptozoic Comics. I'm not really sure why it's called wool. There's no real wool in it. You're not following sheep. There's no clothing involved.
It could be a play on the people are sheep.
Or there's wool over the eyes.
Yeah,
something that will be clever, like 5 issues in. The basic setup is that it's some kind of apocalypse, not the fun Mad Max Fury Road kind, just, an apocalypse. And there are a bunch of people inside of a big silo that goes down several levels, split up like in Snowpiercer. And apparently the outside world may or may not be still completely destroyed. That's the big conspiracy of the book. You're not sure what's out there. Mm-hmm. And sort of combination of that mystery and the death of the law enforcement sheriff inside the silo that drives the comic, and looking for a new sheriff to replace him.
And even the one view you do get of the outside,
yeah.
You're not quite sure, is that reality or is that them messing with the television, which they said that they can do?
Or is it like just hallucinations? There's a lot of questions that would like to be answered in it.
The artwork is pretty decent. It is a little darker. And
I like the coloring as it works to show the different levels have a unique color. Like, the IT level is very weirdly pink,
bluish, pinkish, and
as opposed to the very deep down levels, which are sort of a dark green and much more shrouded.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the upper world is all in shades of red. But I'd say the biggest problem with it overall is that it feels a little generic. We've seen a lot of apocalypse stories before this one.
It is it's only one of 6,
so yeah,
I mean, it's usually on these short stories that can get a tighter story. So maybe we'll see around issue 3 or 4 it starts to develop into something unique. At this point, like you said, it's Snowpiercer with Asylum.
I don't think that you'd end up missing anything if you just waited for the trade on this one to see if it got better.
Yep. And one of my favorites on my pull list is Red Sonja, and this is Red Sonja number 0 from Dynamite. And as much as I love Red Sonja, and number 0s are supposed to either expand upon the character or give a pre-story, this one really just came off more as a one-shot.
Yeah.
You're not missing anything if you are a fan of Red Sonja, and you miss this, don't worry about it. It's a one-shot in a single issue. I like the one-shots that tell more of a story, but this one doesn't even have her for the whole thing. Yeah,
she's in it about, I'd say a third of the way or so, maybe a little more.
Yeah, I mean, there's a decent amount of her at the same time, but again, there's no real story progression, there's no character progression.
I would say that the story that's being told isn't really Red Sonja's own story.
No, it's not.
Which I found a bit of a letdown. And the last one we have for the week is Deep Gravity number 1 from Dark Horse. It's okay, really okay. It's sort of
is the best way to describe it.
It's sort of like, it's like Avatar, but with less of the thrilling adventure and more boring relationship stuff. If you've ever seen a 90s disaster movie where 2 divorced people are forced to reconcile their differences in the face of a massive disaster, you've read this comic, only those were more ambitious. As this has a real bad misuse of negative space. Despite being set on an alien planet, you rarely ever see what it looks like, just gradient backgrounds, and when you do see it, all the weird plants just look like trees. There are maybe 2 interesting monsters in it.
Yep. So, there were a lot of other comics out this week.
And there were good comics out this week.
But they are up on frontwardsgamer.com as reviews. So, I mean, right off the bat, Grimm Fairy Tales had Grimm Fairy Tales of Terror, which I like that they're going back to the horror roots in this. And Grimm Fairy Tales versus Wonderland.
Yeah, and that one just went up today, the Wonderland one.
So
it's a really interesting clash 'em up, and I recommend you read the review because I think I made some good jokes in there. You also saw Low number 1 from Image Comics by famed author Rick Remender, who is the guy behind Sam Wilson becoming Captain America. And you still have my reviews of The Strain going up, with episode 3 going up on Monday. So keep up on that. I'm going to go through the whole series unless people stop reading the articles, so if you hate them, don't read them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
If you keep reading them, we'll keep writing. But, so there were more comics out this week, but we already had the reviews up. Go check out the reviews on frontwardsgamer.com. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, we are going to have a San Diego Comic-Con news wrap-up coming, hopefully, on Wednesday.
All the major news about movies and upcoming comics and shows and all the stuff related to the nerdy things that we all love.
Yeah. So stay tuned, and regular comic station will be coming back to you next week. So
And hopefully we have a few more new issues next week.
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
So thank you, and we will see you next week.